Welcome to Swing State University, a college golf and lifestyle podcast. I'm your host, James Boone. And joining us this week from Austin Peay State University, head coach Easton Key. We're back, Swing State University Season 2. This episode is really special for a couple of reasons. One reason, so we've never had a golf coach on the show. We've been player specific, exclusively players. We want to empower those players. So many talented dudes playing college golf right now, and so we like to highlight them. So this is like breaking new territory. This is like unprecedented for the show. And maybe, if this goes well with our guest today, maybe he's going to pave the way. He's going to be a trailblazer for what's to come. What's one reason I'm excited? The second reason I'm excited is I am excited for a 2 conference removed from being in the same conference as my alma mater. I'm really excited about that. So there's a new conference. If you guys haven't heard, the United Athletic Conference. That's just what the NCAA needs, is another, United American, conference. So unite a very patriotic crew, the NCAA. Previously, this head coach, this past year, coached in the ASUN. But even before that, before he got to the school that he is at currently, they were in the OVC. And I grew up, as maybe some of you guys know, I grew up in Murray, Kentucky, was an alma mater from Murray State. Very big rival with the school that our guest is at currently, the Austin Peay State Governors. It was very common for us to drive up to Clarksville, Tennessee, catch a game, and try to beat the Governors of Austin Peay. So there's a big rivalry, and so I'm very excited that it's water under the bridge now. We're 2 conferences removed, so it's a great pleasure to welcome onto the show. We have Easton Key, head coach of the Austin Peay State Governors. Easton Key, welcome into Swing State University.
James, thanks for having me. Yeah, it's funny, even though we're not in the same conference anymore, the rivalry's still alive. I know even throughout our sports information department, Murray is a 5-letter bad word, or 6-letter. Sorry, I'm gonna sound real dumb there, but it's a bad word. So anytime you see us play Murray, like on the Instagrams or whatever, it's got an asterisk, like M asterisk 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 Y. So it's funny, but also their head coach now, Jake, is a great friend of mine. So it's cool to compete against each other and have that history, but kind of create our own too.
You bringing that up and knowing that information, let's hope this goes well, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, some people might have boycotted this for the sake of the rivalry, but not me. I'm trying to mend fences and play for the spirit of competition, and we can hate each other for 90 minutes or however long it is, and then
get 5 hours.
Yeah, 5. Yeah, and fight in golf for a few days at a time.
Yeah,
and then move on.
That's right. Shout out to Jake Miller. Has been doing an awesome job with the Racers of Murray State. Awesome dude. Agreed. Easton, we talked a little bit about this off air, but you've had a really cool journey. So you're 12 years in. You joked about this was such a good story. You talked about the 3-wood you still game.
Yeah.
And explaining your 3-wood to a recruit, a current player, and he was a little baffled by it.
Yeah.
What do you game?
So
you mentioned it earlier.
It's funny. I just got a Titleist fitting on Thursday for a new one because I was walking with my new signee coming in this fall, Tyson Seiler, at an AJGA in Paducah last week, and we were talking about yeah, it's sweet. We're talking about 3-woods or whatever we were talking about, his 3-wood, and I was like, yeah, I've still got rocket balls, the original, not the rocket balls 2, the original, just straight white rocket balls. And he looked at me and was like, what is that? And he's like, are those are they golf balls, like rocket balls that go far? I was like, no, it's a 3-wood, dude. And I was like, it's a TaylorMade. I said, it's the first face that they thinned out so much that increased distance. And as I said, I got it in probably 2010, And he was like, yeah, I'm 3 years old. I was 3 years old. And I was like, you got to be kidding me. My 3 wood in the bag that I used in college that I got in high school is almost older than my incoming freshman. Yeah, it's getting to the point where the gap's growing. So I'm trying to stay
Mhm.
young.
He was like, I was born in '07,
Yeah.
respectfully.
Yeah. I was like, oh boy.
I did see there was a cool post that came across my feed on Instagram. This was a couple days ago, but talking about oldest clubs that were used in the bag at the Open this past weekend, and Henrik Stenson is still playing Callaway Diablo
He's still
three
playing
wood.
it.
Hmm.
They're just making it
Yeah,
just for him. Like they don't like they just got a special machine that's just called the Henrik, and it makes a Diablo 3 wood, and that's all.
they have the Henrik, or they have a group of buyers that live on eBay
Yeah,
or Rock Bottom
that's
Golf
true.
and buy up all the
They're
Diablos.
like, hey, you want a Diablo? I got one over here. So yeah, no, that's crazy. But yeah, it's that was a funny story that he had never heard of it, didn't know what it was, thought it was a golf ball, and I'm still rocking it to this day. I'm gonna make a change soon, since I just got this fitting, but um, for now it's still in the bag.
Yeah, long live. One thing that's really cool, we talked about this a little earlier. I feel like you do an awesome job, highlighting your players, promoting your players. A lot of your guys that you coach currently have had an awesome summer.
Yeah,
It's
it's
been
great.
it's been cool to see some of the things that you've reposted. But even before you landed at Austin Peay, before you ended up in the United Athletic Conference, which is a lot going on with that. New schools, new programs with the ASUN, and the Western Athletic Conference merging. But even before that, man, that there's 12 years of your career where you've coached all conference folks, all Americans. We had Thomas Schmidt on the show not too long ago, back in the spring, and you coached him at A State for a couple years. You're no stranger to working with high level athletes. I would love just like for the audience, like give them a taste of what your background is. Where did you play? Where are you from? And why maybe after you got done playing, you were like, I'm going to stay in this industry. I want to keep coaching. What did
Yeah,
that look like for you?
absolutely. So first off, shout out Anthony DeShooter too. He played for me. Him and Thomas were on the same team at A State when I was the assistant.
It's
So
my dog.
I got
And
two. I don't know how many total people you've had on, but I've got two former players. So I feel like that's a fun stat.
It
So
it is a record. For with Ant, real quick, I want to shout out Anthony. We're having a baby in November. This clinic that we go into, there's the most random picture of this, like it's Belgium, and there's like a big Belgium flag on it.
yeah,
And so I take a picture of it every time we're in there. I'm like, "What's up, bro? Thinking
yeah,
about you."
that's awesome.
Um,
Yeah,
so
no,
shout out.
that's great. But yeah, so
Yeah,
grew up in Meridian, Mississippi. You know, kind of a late bloomer of the game. Went to my local junior college for school for the first 2 years to play golf, and luckily we were number one in the nation. It just was conveniently nice that I had such a strong program in my backyard, but didn't have any offers out of high school. Didn't take a single visit. Never did any of that. Just was making swing changes during those times, and so didn't have any offers at all. And um, so went to Meridian and played for 2 years, and it just clicked while I was there. Just getting to play every week and being on a number one team, and kind of doing it the the way it takes to be a number one team type of caliber, no matter the level. The standard's still the standard no matter what. So that really helped instill in me like what it looks like, what a championship team looks like. And obviously they can look different ways, but at least for firsthand having that experience. And then transferred to Arkansas State, was lucky enough to play pretty well and get noticed. I think I got up to like seventh in the nation, but we played in Arkansas State's event um, when I was in junior college, and I played well my junior year, and so then because of that, I got on the radar and signed the next November, and um, I was going to turn pro. Um, it was one of those that like I kind of had a wrist injury by my senior year. Um, Kind of always dealt with a little burnout once off season came, and like I was realistic, and I was like, I could do this, but also like there's a chance this just doesn't work out. And I wanted to have a backup plan. And my major was psychology, which is great for my job now, but it was just general psychology. So I wasn't really doing, it was a
Yeah.
sports, it was sports like emphasis, but it wasn't all sports. So I just didn't care for it doing anything with that. I don't even know what you do with a psychology degree.
Yeah. There was going to be more schooling. There was going to be a different
Exactly.
diversion from the
So
route you
we didn't
took
even
for
have
sure.
an assistant when I was there, and then out of the blue, he just says, "Hey, do you want to be a GA? I think you'd be great for the job." And I was like, "All right, I got this wrist injury, need it to heal. I still want to play, but like I'll do this for a couple of years to have a backup plan, you know." And my first year, it was a mess. We still I still lived in the house with the guys. I was just the next member of the team that just happened to go in the office and drive the van sometimes. And after that first year, a coaching change was made, and I was the only person part of the golf coaching staff to still be there. And so I was part of the interviews and ordering the gear, and like literally had to do it all so that whoever came in had it set up and ready to go. So it's kind of a crash course on what the back end of ordering gear looked like and all that. But by that time, um, I had decided, this is where I wanted to do. I wasn't playing golf as much and things like that. One thing that I thought was awesome my first trip as a GA was I don't have to qualify anymore. I get to go to every trip.
Mm,
I get to go to every trip without the stress of qualifying. So
you're freed up.
yeah,
Freed up.
exactly. So
It's bittersweet. It's very bittersweet feeling.
yeah, yeah, no, for sure. But so yeah, then I moved out, got my own place, and just started setting that boundary of coach versus just a player. And Mike Hagan came in, who's still at A State, and taught me the ropes. And um, then because of him, after I graduated, went to Omaha, Nebraska, and coached at Nebraska Omaha for a year. Um, it was
Which
two.
pause.
Yeah,
Yeah, put a pin in that. Were there any other schools that you were like looking at, or you're like, I'm willing to pack up and leave and just go about anywhere to pursue this?
just about anywhere. Like that was definitely about as far as I cared to go. Honestly, it was so late in the hiring year. Like it was later than this before school started, and uh,
Wow.
uh I want to say a week or two before, I had gotten so little looks and offers or interviews or anything that I was like, I'm gonna just turn pro. Like I literally like bought a car. Or I didn't buy a car. My parents bought the car, but like got a new car that had better gas mileage on it for travel. I went and played in a local amateur event and was just like, I guess I'm gonna just try to give this a go because I don't know what else I'm doing right now. And um, I think that's also one of those, stories where it was just divine, where it just popped up and they flew me up there and I loved it. And, what didn't end up being the greatest experience, but I learned a lot from it. And it's just too cold up there, man. Like Nebraska, being a Mississippi boy, it's different. I mean, it hits your lungs. Like it's deep. But I loved Omaha. It's a great place. And just want to get back closer to home. My wife now, we started dating like 5 or 6 months before I inevitably left. So it was like, great timing for all that, but we made it work. And so anyways, was up there for a year, moved, and then was able to get the head coaching job at Delta State University in Cleveland, Mississippi, Division II job. So I was 25 years old, 1 year
Yeah.
or I guess 3 years, but 1 year of full time coaching experience. Um, just trying to figure it out, and had some success there, which I'm sure we'll get into. And then
Yeah.
Mike Hagan gave me a call once the position finally transitioned from a GA job to a paid job. And it was just one of those things that we had such a great year together, and broke the school record for wins, and really flipped that program around. And I couldn't wait because my alma mater is where my wife's from. and it just worked out perfectly. So went back there for 3 years, loved it. Won a Sun Belt Conference championship. Thanks to Thomas Schmidt, he won in the playoff to get us a ring, and then got the opportunity from our success there to come to Austin Peay, and it was just a perfect fit.
It's been cool to see A State and kind of what they've been able to do, like even since you moved on to Austin Peay and
Yeah,
what they've done the
no,
last
for
couple of
sure.
years.
And
Yeah,
it's never about me or think
yeah,
or even think it, but all five of the guys at regionals I helped recruit. So it's like it's still guys that I know, So it's even a closer connection because a couple of years from now, even next year, I might not know half of them, but still having that
right,
like I message them after a win and like that, great playing and just still having that connection with basically the whole team is great to just have, and that's just kind of how I coach is just being involved with people and creating those connections.
for sure. And you can see that it translate in the way that you coach the guys at Austin Peay. And I'll also say, just given your experiences, like it's definitely affected the way that you coach. But I look back at your time, I guess it was 2014, 2015. You had just finished your grad assistant 2 years at A
Yeah,
State. Is that right?
yeah, yeah. That sounds right.
All right. So you you're thinking about, hey, maybe I'm gonna go pro. It's kind of late in the summer, kind of late. Yeah, maybe I'm not even gonna land on a roster or and be an
Yeah,
assistant coach anywhere. You end up going to Omaha, and then literally, I mean, you could almost say 10 months later, you're now a head coach of a Division II program. That's a great program.
yeah,
And so there's a we talked a little bit about this before hopping on, but there's a little bit of like an element where it's like, did you feel any imposter syndrome going from, hey, I'm just kind of obviously you had the experience of being the only person in the building in the office at A State before you left, but it's like that's a big jump going
yeah,
from GA assistant to becoming a head. What
yeah.
what was that
I
season
mean,
like?
I was 2 years removed from deciding this is what I want to do for a living. So I mean, to then be a head coach was absolutely frightening, is like, am I ready for this? Like, just the constant, like, did I forget something? Like, did I forget to order shoes, or just something, or did I order hats? Like, just all the little things you're worried about. And, but yeah, but I think too, it was very helpful. I still, I wouldn't necessarily say I was like worried about the success part because I just love competing and what I learned from Mike Hagan, I literally just copied and pasted it because it was the same thing. The team needed a flip and needed to turn it around, and we turned it around at A State um, as a GA, and that's kind of just I had the freedom to do, and obviously had my own ideas, but just kind of use his blueprint of how to turn a program around, and um, we were fortunate enough to have a great group my first year, group I'll never forget of guys, and went from 135 in the country to finishing 11th at nationals, the highest finish the team's ever had. And I mean, we were right there in the mix, top 8 made match play, and I think it was only till the last couple holes that we realized we were out. But so we were right there in the mix, and I mean, I've never had a group of guys more willing to jump off a bridge if I told them to, without questioning it. And it just really shows too how just playing for each other and all that can really bring out the best in you, and playing for something bigger than yourself. So yeah, long story short, had it was a lot to learn, and but it worked out great.
It also goes to show that you don't have to have 20 years of experience, in this industry to be able to command a team and a group of guys. To
Yeah,
where a lot of that was you instilling trust in them, and then though you're 25, maybe you're 3 years older than some of those guys, like you're able to command a room and
yeah,
and coach them up.
yeah. That
That was a
was
really yeah.
it was part of the tougher part of it because you know at least on my side, I felt like I got to do more to, gain their respect or for them to listen to me. And, I never really had a problem, with, the guys that wanted to be there, once we got into the thick of things. But, yeah, it was just like, you know, just trying to toe that line and create a line of like, I'm the coach, but I'm not that person that's like, I'm here because I'm like the power and I do it so I can command you around or whatever. It's more of I mean, every team meeting each year starts with, this is a mutual respect thing. Like, I respect you as a person, you respect me as a person, we respect our roles, and we do everything out of mutual respect and mutual trust. So that's just kind of how I do things. So worked out well.
Yeah, it's a more of a collaborative process for sure. Um, kind of next season, I do want to talk about as you walk through. Hey, you were at Delta State for 4 years. You saw new heights. Finished 11th at nationals. You coached a Arnold Palmer Cup team member. Zach Zydeker had an incredible run, was All American, an incredible player.
Yep.
So you coached there. You coached there for 4 years. Was there ever any point in you? Well, I'll back up. You have always had a great relationship with Coach Hagan since you guys connected. He's
Mhm.
he's taught you a lot about how to coach, and he's influenced your career in incredible ways. After those 4 years, was there ever a point where you were looking anywhere else, or there once Coach Hagan and Mike gave you the call, where you're just like, okay, this is where I'm going? Were your eyes always on getting back to A State at some point?
It was
Obviously,
more of like,
being an alma mater. Yeah,
yeah, I mean, it was always just like, if it happened, great. Like, obviously, I was in talks with him pretty regularly just because we were friends, but I still say to this day, I've never, besides that Omaha job, and I guess Delta State, but as my career has progressed, I have not looked for the job. It has just kind of happened everywhere I've been. And I tell this to uh, young coaches. I've got several players that are coaches and are getting into coaching, and they're trying to climb the ladder. And I've just been fortunate enough, and I know it might not be the same for everybody, but it's like, just be where your feet are and just love where you're at. I've, like, both places, I really had to contemplate, like, do I want to leave, because I really love it here, and it was never a, you know I need to get out of here, I need to do whatever it takes to leave. It was just kind of ingraining yourself in each community and each program, and um, kind of having people notice it and want you to be a part of their program is just kind of how I've been. I've never looked for anything after starting out pretty early on. So it's just kind of happened, and same thing with this job. It just kind of happened, and wasn't planning on leaving, but after talks, it worked out great for me and my family, and here we are.
in Clarksville, Tennessee. What would you say the biggest difference is for just from a school perspective of like the way that you recruit, how you run your team compared to your time at Arkansas State?
Yeah. So Jonesboro is a great town, but it's kind of in the middle of nowhere as far as like other towns around it. You've got Little Rock that's a couple hours away, and Memphis is an hour, but you're kind of in no man's land in the northeast part of Arkansas. So, um, you kind of, and the way Coach Hagan does things is, he has very strong European ties. Had that at Indian Hills before. It's just, they've got a good pipeline going, and it works great for him. And not that I'm against it, but also being where I'm at now, it's such a more just rich area with golf, with Nashville not being but 20 minutes away from the Kentucky line, not being that far from Mississippi, Alabama, North Carolina. I mean, you're kind of right in a hotbed where, if proximity is an issue, you've got a lot of states to work with. And I don't play. I want this many. I want all internationals, or all in state guys, or in country guys, domestic kids, or anything like that. I just kind of recruit the best players I can, and we've got one international now, and then we've got one signed for 2027 from Thailand. So I enjoy that part of the process too, of kind of learning people's backgrounds and where they came from, learning different cultures. But yeah, I'm more of a guy that just recruits people that I want to be around, and it might have been, Mike might have even told me that, is like, you're with these guys so long, for 6 days a week, 7 days a week, especially during the season, that it's like, you want to enjoy who you're being around and who you spend your time with. And luckily get to choose that. Obviously, it's important that you're good at golf, but like that's big to me is just having like that culture of just good dudes, people that have high integrity, or people you can trust, and it just creates a very drama free, just good atmosphere. And we like to have fun. So being where we're at now is definitely different, just because you do have Tennessee is such a strong junior golf state. It's usually top 5 in the country. Arkansas is one of the worst. It just, you have some top heavy talent, but it's just not as deep. So nothing against it. It's just, I mean, being from Mississippi is the same way. So it's just how the states are ran, and how where the golf is, and being here close to the hotbed of Nashville and all that is pretty
Hmm.
exciting.
I'll give you an example of how that plays out in my personal life. I have not played competitive golf in probably since I graduated, like at a relatively high level. For someone trying to get back into it, I still hold a handicap. It is like not it's not as up to
Yeah.
date as it should be. So USGA, if you hear this, apologies. That said, I wanted to get back to playing competitively this summer, and so I signed up for the mid-am, so mid-am qualifier, and I went on Copilot and just looked up. It's like, hey, if I'm gonna qualify and I'm not very good and I hit this ball flight and these are the strengths of my game,
Yeah.
where should I go? Give me a top 5 list. And it was like, okay, if competition is like what you're trying to avoid, do not go to Nashville. Do not go to
Yeah.
Atlanta. Do not go in the
Do
Southeast. It's
not.
like
Yeah.
you better cross the Mississippi River and like get your butt in Arkansas. And I was like, all right,
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll do it.
That's great.
And
Yeah.
so for yes, so for Coach Hagan, where it's like your biggest cities are Little Rock, or then if it's not Little Rock, it's probably Texas that you'd be recruiting.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
like you can't fault them for like seeking somewhere else to find talent, and there's so much talent, and not only talent, but to your point, awesome human beings and dudes that you want to spend time with.
Yeah,
So
exactly. And that's important too. Every school is
yeah,
different because of your location, and recruiting strategies and all that change. Because, if I were in his shoes, I'd do the same thing probably, because it's just hard to get that level of talent without going overseas. Nothing against Arkansas or Jonesboro or anything like that. It's just how it is.
yeah, for sure. I was in Little Rock this past weekend. Went to
Yeah.
David's Burgers.
Oh, David's
Incredible.
my favorite. David's is my favorite burger of all time. And the way the way they bring around, they give you that little wrap of parchment paper, and then they come around and give you the
Yeah,
fries before you even eat. And then sometimes they bring around the little ice cream cups for free, so little samples. It just feels like, I mean, just feels like your family. Like it's just but it's also like the best burger ever. I love it. So, um,
man. If you're ever in the area,
shout out Dave's
Dave's Burgers,
Burgers.
David's
Yeah,
Burgers.
yeah,
Shout
for
out
sure.
David's
I've
Burgers
sent
real quick.
plenty of people there.
All right. So on the flip side of there being a lot of talent, we're in close proximity to Clarksville, Tennessee. The flip side of it is also there's a lot of really good golf programs in the area as well. Like if you
Yeah,
look through Nashville, Clarksville, Murfreesboro, East Tennessee, bunch of schools, even go up north, Western Louisville, Kentucky. Um, there's a lot of folks that you're competing against for talent in comparison to Arkansas, where it's like, okay, maybe it's UCA, A
yeah,
State. Little Rock has an amazing program as
yeah,
well, but how do you set yourself apart whenever you're trying to recruit against schools at a similar level in the same area that may
yeah.
be literally 30 minutes
Yeah,
down the road
that
from
is
you?
the tough part. The on the flip side of it is a hotbed for so many places, and um, we're fortunate enough that our programs recently invested, or our athletic departments recently invested in an indoor facility, and invested in the golf teams with the new van, and things for all the bells and whistles to help with recruiting. But I think we've got such a great golfing community here. You're not in Nashville, but you're close enough. In Clarksville is its own city, 150,000 people that, um, you know, you've got a lot of options, but also so do they. So it's like early on, it's kind of been getting the program back to where we're still competing with those recruits, but it's like, Austin Peay, kind of separated themselves. And so that's kind of my vision for against those in-state rivals of the mid-major levels, is just trying to be that first look in the state of Tennessee after your Vanderbilts and Tennessees and Memphis and all that. And I think a lot of that is I've gone the transfer route and kind of trying to bring people in um, to help right away. Nothing against freshmen, but it's different once when people come in and they know how things work and they've played college golf and they can help right away. And now you're starting to see the program come back with more freshmen and bringing in, and really, we kind of turn the tide back the right way. And I think and I can't be giving away too many trade secrets, but just just kind of selling that the program's on the rise. Like we're not happy with being stagnant, and we're looking to improve. And you know them being a big part of that is kind of the vision.
And you told me a crazy statistic before we hopped on, but with the influx of folks moving into the Nashville area and how it's, obviously expanded over the last 5 to 10 years, yeah, I feel like you mentioned this, but Clarksville is getting that bump in population and
Mhm.
investment. It seems like trickle down effect would happen to make it a more, appealing spot for recruits to want to go.
Yeah,
Would you
for
say?
sure. And it's one of those places that it's not. I'd never even heard of Clarksville when I went on the interview. Just knew it was somewhere close to Nashville, but yeah, it's its own town, and it's huge. There's tons of stuff and things to do here, and it's just kind of a hidden secret. So if once you get people here, that's when you get them, because it's a great town, great university, beautiful campus, right on the river. Just a great place to be, but it's just nobody really knows about it with being overshadowed in Nashville. But I think we've broke our freshman enrollment record 3 years in a row or something like that. And
Hmm.
yeah, the stat I saw within the last year or so is that Clarksville is anticipated to overtake Chattanooga and Knoxville for the third biggest city in Tennessee. And that's and it's the fastest growing in Tennessee. So we're a few thousand behind. It's not that far. Like, it's really pretty close already. Maybe more than a few, but it's getting close, and Clarksville's growing. I want to say the median age here is like 34, which is me. But like, it's young too. You got the military
Uh,
base, they've got the army base here, and so that kind of helps those numbers too. But it's a young town, so I guess you get all those Nashville young young professionals. That you got a cheaper real estate here than
uh,
Nashville, so that's why it's just growing up here.
Fascinating.
Yeah, fun fact.
That's a great fact. I'm surprised that hasn't hit my LinkedIn feeds lately.
Yeah, I know,
I feel like
right?
that's that's
Right.
that's probably that's
People
probably
need to be
coming.
selling that more.
Let's pivot a little bit. I'm thinking of you've had conversations with former players, younger coaches who are new to the industry. You've been in the industry for 12 years. You've seen a lot of success. What do you tell a young coach, maybe someone who just took over a program as their first time being a head coach? What advice would you give them? What are some things that you've learned over the last 12 years?
Great question. Honestly, just being a sponge, whether it's being a head coach or, the more traditional route, being an assistant coach, is early on, just being a sponge and taking it all in and learning how things go. I think my first year as an assistant, if the head coach didn't tell me something to do, I just sat there and twiddled my thumbs. I didn't know how the system worked, and didn't really know where my role really was, besides just helping out any way I could. And I think like that second stint back with Mike at A State um, was so flawless, from in the office and stuff, because I knew how to run a program, and so I was able to do stuff that he didn't even ask me to do. Just learning how everything works, and just being a sponge to it all, I think is huge. And just always remember that, like, we're here to, like, I mean, it can't be about us, because we're not even putting the ball in the hole. It's like you got to be there for your players,
Mm,
and and kind of understand this is their life experience, right? And but then you also have a responsibility to help them grow as people, and you get 4 years with them, which feels forever when you're in it, but it's really not that much time, if 4 years these days. And so it's like, how can you make an impact on their life and be someone that they can look up to help shape their life, right? You're in college, you're learning how to
Mm,
how to be an adult, how to make decisions for yourself, and how to not make the wrong decisions. And so I think what sets me apart as well, is that
wow.
I see it from that perspective of like, how can I help these people leave here as better individuals and be ready for success in whatever path they go? Because it's not always going to be golf, but how can I ingrain myself into them to that I can uh, help these young men grow and knowing I was in the same boat and needed that guidance as well is kind of why I do it, and kind of the biggest why I love coaching.
That's so rich. The point you said earlier of, hey, you're spending 6 to 7 days a week in season with these people. On the flip side, if you're the 18 to 22-year-old golfer at Austin Peay State University, the only adult in the room other than you and I mean, other than Coach
Yeah,
Boggs, it is you. So like,
yeah,
in a
yeah,
large sense, it's like, okay, how do they see this adult
yeah. No,
operating? It's like
that's
it's going to influence
I'd
them.
actually never thought about it in that flip way, that I am like the only adult, outside of coordinators and support staff, but like, yeah, I'm the direct adult for them almost their whole, day to day for months at a time. So it's a great way to put it. But yeah, it's just like, how can you make their lives better and prepare them for the future, throughout their time.
Yeah. And speaking of day to day transitioning, obviously your guys have been out playing this summer. They're about to, drive up or drive down to or fly in to
Yeah,
Nashville, up to Clarksville here in the next few weeks, probably. And by the time this episode comes out, they're probably already on campus, and you're probably
yeah,
rearing up to qualify and get all that sorted out. But yeah, what's the next couple weeks for you guys look like? I mean, the season it's kind of crazy. It is. It's right around the corner. We're about a
yeah,
month and a half out. So
yeah. It is. We'll start in 30 days actually. So we'll come back a few weeks early, or not a few weeks, few days early, um, before the classes start. And right now is the stuff that nobody sees, right? Is ordering all the gear and all the golf balls, and right now actually, because you have to wait till July 1st almost everywhere you go, because that's the new fiscal year, to start buying stuff for the next year. So a lot of it's like in kind, hey, can we go ahead and get this ready to order? And so July 1st comes along and it's put in and paid for and all that. And so right now is when you're starting to see Christmas in July. I'm getting everything. I think Friday morning I got 4 boxes, and then Friday afternoon I got 7 more. So it's just like my room's just a big box. I mean, there's just stuff. My office is just a big box at this point, and trying to figure out what goes to the embroidery. We've got our own heat press, which saves money there. So it's like, what's going to be on the heat press? What's the logo going to be? What logos are we going to use? You got the Sweet Golf and Gov here. Got to give him a shout out.
come on,
We got
come on,
we got
come
the
on.
hats. We got, you got to be dripped out, and that's that. I think that's a
Got
thing
to
I do pretty well, is make sure our guys are looking good. So always had a knack for approval from the guys on the gear side. So uh,
very stylish guy, Easton Key.
I appreciate that. Yeah, but no, so yeah, it's just right now is really ramping up to from, there was stuff to do. Obviously, there's recruiting and stuff like that, but you're almost just sitting there waiting for the clock to strike midnight on on July 1st, so you can start getting to work. And but like ping bags, I mean, those even the cheaper one, the one that has the quickest turnarounds, like 3 months. I ordered mine in March and they're still not here. So like, it never ends. Like as soon as you take a break from, your last tournament of the season, you may have a couple weeks, but it's like you got to get back on top of it immediately. So it never really ends, and starting to enjoy the summer, but it's definitely the time where it's like, you know, I know we don't start for almost a month, but it feels like once August gets here, it's go time. And so it's like, even though you got half a month there, it's like, all right, August is right on the corner. I got to be ready.
Man, how will you structure qualifying? Like, are you gonna have any guys that are exempt or gonna carry over from last year? What does that
No,
look
I
like for you?
usually just, I never really carry anything over. I think it's important each year to just start fresh, and you got to earn it. I think this year, we're going to kind of bring back a mantra I had at Delta State, which is earn everything. So, I'm going to try to not even do picks. Everything's going to be, you shoot it, you get it, and it's just everything we do is nothing's giving. It's going to be earned. We I'm bringing back the helmet stickers. I think this is cool. So I've got
Yeah,
this system where, if you're even par or better on the last 6 holes, you're under par on the par fives, you don't have a penalty stroke, you don't have a three putt, you get a helmet sticker and you put it at the bottom of your bag and line them up. So just going back to some old stuff and, from the good old days at Delta State that kind of got lost along the way, that, you got to remember is kind of at least what feels like, kind of special to me, and things that I did that kind of make it my thing. And, so I think even the third year coming into this is still learning, like, all right, what's my thing? Like, and trying just being myself, and coaching the way I coach, and that honestly can just be whatever it wants to be. Coaching isn't a box, and you don't have to do it some other way. And just like golf, everyone's got a different personality, so just embrace it, and
yeah.
kind of be yourself.
With there being different personalities, you have 9 different personalities that you're trying to manage on a golf team in a given year. You have 9 different swings, 9 different philosophies on how to come in and swing the golf club and move your body and think through. Hopefully, not think through a golf course. Hopefully, that's probably your job. But how do you manage? Some of that is probably like in the recruiting process of like forming a team. But how do you manage 9 different people
Yeah, I think
on your team?
that's definitely, obviously before they get here, I've got some kind of relationship with them, right? And I think especially new guys, it's important to build that trust and build that relationship, and learn who they are. We do, we'll go to a local, place here that's got a arcade, go karts, what else? Putt putt. It's got laser tag, and we started doing it last year, and they're big, supporters of Austin Peay, and so we'll go and they give us an all day pass, and we just get to play as long as we want. So it's like trying to be a person before, just as much as the golf coach, so that, golf coach comes, or any authoritative position comes with that intimidation factor, right? And it's like, at, our end goal is to be on the same team and achieve something great for something bigger than ourselves. So like, I'm not in this for the power. I'm not in this to just be on you for no reason. Like, I'm in this for us to do this collaboratively, and do it together. So just doing things like that to kind of break the shell of, you listen to me because I'm the coach, and more of like, you listen to me because we respect each other, and we see each other, and that just builds throughout the year. I think your team just gets stronger and stronger, when you're learning everybody. Great story. Seth Smith, who's on the
Yeah.
team, um, one of our top
Just
guys
had
coming
a
back.
really good finish. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, he just finished,
I
low
guess
am T first, lost in the playoff for the Tennessee Open, and
amazing.
also shot 60 today at some course up in Kentucky, broke the course record. I don't even know that Dale Hollow Lake golf course.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Course record.
shot 60 today. Great player. But anyways, I always tell this story when I give an example of my level of relationship with the guys. Is I learned just from basic conversation that he goes to McDonald's down the road every morning, gets a black coffee. Um, that's just his thing. Like the people are waiting on him. Like, here's your coffee. Like, just a black coffee. He's always carrying around. If it's before noon, he's probably got a McDonald's black coffee in his hand. And so we might have even been at Murray State actually last year, and or 2 years ago, whenever, and um, I got everybody's McDonald's order to go pick up on the way to the course, and he put in his order for whatever, a biscuit. But he didn't put coffee, and I was like, we're eating at McDonald's, like I got to get Seth a coffee, and he comes out. And I'm waiting on him with the black coffee, and he was just gonna drink the Hampton Inn coffee, and he was like, "Oh my gosh!" Like, I was like, yeah, I remembered you drink coffee. You love McDonald's coffee, and that's what part of your routine. So I had to get you one since we're going to McDonald's. So just learning who people are is kind of the long way of saying, how I do things.
Yeah. Being able to, pay attention.
Yeah.
That takes some intentionality to know your people.
Yeah, exactly.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, man, shout out to Seth Smith. I'm surprised, being, a GA at Western and eating a lot of breakfast meals, whether it's Chick-fil-A, McDonald's, whatever it looked like. There is like a hierarchy of like coffee, at those
Yeah.
little fast food restaurants. So it's like for him to land on McDonald's, he needs that. He needs that to play
he's
well.
just a simple
honestly.
man. He just needs that
Yeah.
McDonald's black coffee. But yeah, I love that part of it. It's probably the most enriching part, is just having those relationships. And like we said beforehand, is creating those relationships that aren't just a 4-year transactional relationship, right? It's like, I want to at least have some kind of relationship out of this where it's, every now and then just checking in, or we're good friends, or whatever it may be. Is like, we've been through so much for years together. It's like, you know, it almost feels weird for me, when you build those relationships and then they graduate and then they're just gone. It's like they were here for so long, and so it's like I want to help my players just be good people and learn and be a good role model, but then also still be part of their lives in some way, even if it's just, hey, how's it going? Or thought, whatever crazy story they might have thought of, or keeping up with everybody's schedules. If anybody that, Patton Samuels, that just graduated, hometown kid from Clarksville, he turned pro, and I texted him and got his schedule. And so these guys probably are like, how in the world does he know what I'm playing in? But I've got a full master sheet in my notes, and literally go through it like a calendar. And it's like, all right, who's playing this week? And then I go find what they're playing in, and, they'll play. I won't talk to them for 2 weeks. And then, like, this time of year, and they'll shoot 69 the first round, and I go, good playing. It's like I was there the whole time watching. Like, I'm around, and I want to be a part of it. And it's like, hey, what went well? What didn't go well? Like, even though we're in our own individual part of the seasons, it's like, even now I'm just like, hey, like, how'd you do that? Like, what was good? How do we learn from it? Just staying part of their lives. Also, for all my players will know, shout out to this water bottle. I keep it in my back pocket at all times. When we're on the course, and the guys like to make fun of me. It used to be fully white, but like right before a tournament, I dropped it, and the top broke, and I think I was walking out the door uh, to go to the airport, and I just grabbed one of my wife's tops, and I've just never changed. But I've had this same water bottle. I mean, it's got dents in it. I mean, I've had this since A State. I've probably had it 4 or 5 years. Yeah, I've lost it several times, but it's come back. But any of my players watching this are going to get a crack out of it. I'm still got my water bottle. So
Probably not great for khaki short back pockets. Like, you probably have to order a new pair every year.
yeah,
From
I mean,
Walla. Like,
I
the
never
back
really
pocket,
looked back
probably
there,
not.
so I'm not really sure what's going on, or what it
Valid.
looks
Yeah,
like.
valid.
But yeah, that is part of it. So it look it feel it looks funkier when I see photos. I'm like, whoa. But uh, sometimes you don't want to carry it around.
It's your McDonald's black coffee. Let's be honest.
Yeah,
That
it
that's
is.
just what that is
I
for
gotta
you.
have my white water bottle. So just is what it is.
I'm curious about how you advise your players, like Patton, like just had a great senior year, is moving on, turning professionally. And I say advise because you're not their coach anymore. But, around your junior year as an athlete, as a player, you're starting to make the calculations. Hey, does it make sense for me to like make this jump after the end of my senior year? How do you advise players? Because I think on a podcast like this and maybe other podcasts, there's a lot of like, what advice would you give to junior golfers?
Yeah.
Well, talk about the side of it that's like, hey, should I turn pro? Should I make this jump? Like,
Yeah.
what's kind of your words of
Yeah.
wisdom?
So, I definitely, usually, like you said, around the junior year, whether that's going into the junior year, middle junior year, whatever it is, I like to really sit down with each of those individuals that I know have that, kind of motivation to go to the next level of like, let's take right now, Patton and Seth have both had this conversation with me. But it's like, is Patton Samuels right now as a junior going into senior year in college, doing all the habits to be a professional golfer? Well, start doing that now. If it's, well, he's going to be a better putter, not so streaky. Well, let's get to work on the putter. Don't wait on it. Don't wait until it's that time or it's too late, because then you've, all the stuff you've ingrained in your habits and your time management and your priorities, that all has to start now. And then on the money side, with Zach Zedeker at Delta State, he decided to turn pro, even though he had a COVID year. And so because of that, I kind of went the extra mile and I talked to Eddie Brescher at Southern Miss, who played professionally for a little while. I've talked to several coaches, talked to the Monday Q guy, Ryan French, I think is his name, that runs the Monday qualifying Twitter. And he gave me a bunch of advice on what that looks like, from raising money, or where you get in your, how do you get a backing and things like that, and how do you, because it's a business at that point. You have an LLC, you
Right.
are a business, and so just kind of also preparing them for, this isn't just, hey, all right, now I'm gonna just go play for money. Like, you've got to have backing. You've got to have, more people don't make it because they run out of money than it is they're not talented enough. So just kind of trying to give them a full view of like, hey, this is what the next step looks like, and you got to be ready to handle that. And but at the same time, you try not to have it too early. It happens every time where your seniors usually kind of not fade out, but just you get your best stuff like in their junior year, early senior year, because whatever their future holds, they're kind of already looking towards what's next, and so uh, that senior year, it just depends on the person, but there's definitely times where guys are just not like they're half in, half out. They're all there, but obviously they've got to line stuff up, internships and whatever it is that they want to do with their life, and so just I think that's the big thing too that I've also told them is, you come to college to be qualified to get a degree and get a job. Well, if your job is to be a professional golfer, this is your college where you have to be ready to then go get that job. So, and then what does that look like? And a lot of that is more of your self-discipline, your hard work ethic, all the little things that go with time management, priorities, all that stuff that matters. Cause I'm not going to be there saying, hey, it's time to get up and go practice before this tournament coming up. You're a one-man band at that point. So just kind of keeping them or getting them ready and understand what that looks like.
I had never heard it put like that, where if you are a player of that caliber, where you are thinking through, hey, I wonder what my next steps are, your peak, or at least your mental focus, is at its highest end of your junior year, beginning of senior year. I've never heard it framed like that, because there is a reality of like, okay, I have 4 more months of this. What's next on my plate and my agenda, which would make sense. Why you see kind of not in no ways is it a fizzle, but like, I've never tracked this. There's no trend, but like, maybe, you know what I'm saying?
It's just like a human nature thing. Cause that era of your life's coming to an end, and you got to figure out what the heck you're going to do after that. And so you just have, your eyes are just peeking forward a little bit, and it's just how almost all of us are wired. So just how it is.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I am with Easton Key, head coach of the Austin Peay State Governors. One thing that we want to do before we hop off with Easton, he is the head coach, first head coach we've had on the show, but he's the head coach of the Austin Peay State Governors. And being the head of the governors, right? He is in charge of 9 governors in theory. If you want to take it that way, we're doing a bit called This or That. And so the framework for this section of This or That, I have an active roster of PGA golfers, and we're going to go through and see which one would be the best like political figure. So like Austin Peay, their mascot is the Governors. Easton leads a team of governors. And so like in theme with political figures, we are going to do This or That. PGA golfers who'd make good political leaders. So Easton, that is a crazy prompt, but
hey, I'm all for it. Let's do it. First off, a little bit of a history lesson is: do you know who Austin Peay is?
I don't.
Austin Peay was the first governor of Tennessee. Hence
the
governor.
Yes.
So yeah,
I feel like deductive reasoning should have kicked in and been like, okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense. When you say it, it's not like, oh my gosh, but it is like, oh, that's cool. Like, yeah.
It also makes me think of being a young Murray State racer athlete and thinking about flush to pee and like not having any connotation by like who Austin Peay was. It's like, okay,
open the fly, let's go pee.
Yeah, all the stuff. But knowing that he was the first governor of Tennessee, it's like that probably changes things. I don't,
Yeah. All right, let's do it.
All right, here we go. We're gonna go Easton Key, This or That. Who would you vote for in a political election? Ludwig Oberg or Daniel Berger?
I'm a huge Oberg guy. I love Oberg, and not just for a fan, but in this sense too. I think he'd be great. He just seems like real chill and like level headed to the point where like if he's trying to make big decisions, he's gonna be calm, cool, and collected about it. So I think it's Daniel Berger, but I'm going Oberg.
Going Oberg. We're voting for Oberg in the Swedish election this year. If that
Sweden seems to have it going on, so why not?
Swedes, they have Zlatan Ibrahimovic. They'd love it at Oberg. Let's go Oberg or Akshay Bhatia.
I'm gonna stick with Oberg. Akshay's growing on me now that he's kind of been a mainstay on the tour. Learning more about him, and he's a cool guy, but I'll stick with Oberg.
Yeah, not that Oberg is young. I think they're probably around the same age, but Akshay just seems a little bit too young to run for political office.
Yeah, I think with him starting at 18, going straight to pro golf and the Blades Brown route, and I mean, props to him for having the vision and the work ethic to pay it off. You can't knock that.
Yeah.
But yeah, he just feels like he's still young, but like, yeah, he's almost like he's still 20, He's just not ready for it yet.
Not ready for it yet.
Could be next in line, Been watching House of the Dragon. So you could say he could have a claim to the throne eventually, but just not quite yet.
Yeah, at some point. I'm thinking making that transition straight to the pros. It's kind of giving me career politician vibes, and I don't know if I trust it.
Yeah,
I don't know if I trust
it. That's fair. That's fair. Yeah.
All right, all right, we're still on Oberg. Okay, Oberg or Keegan Bradley? Leader of the president or the Ryder Cup. Oberg or Keegan Bradley?
Oh man, so
failed term, by the way.
Yeah, I'm reluctantly going to say Oberg. Just because I've never loved Keegan, but I will say I got the fortunate experience to walk inside the ropes as an honorary walker during the St. Jude at TPC Southwind, and my group was Matt Fitzpatrick and Keegan Bradley, and so I got to see him up close and personal. And like he's great. He's a little misunderstood, but I think I'm still sticking with Oberg. But obviously the merit with the age and being a Ryder Cup captain and all that is definitely tempting. But I just got to stick with my principles here.
Yeah, absolutely. Stick with your principles. And I think also it's like, okay, you could be in the space with a president that you didn't agree with, but if you were in 10 feet proximity, you'd be like, wow, that was pretty awesome. And I did.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So Keegan Bradley.
Exactly. Yeah.
We're still at Oberg. We're going Oberg or Sam Burns. Just had an awesome showing at the Open.
Oh, yeah. I'll take Sam Burns there. He's really come on up my radar lately. Obviously he's had a great year, but we're around the same age. He might be a little bit younger than me. But like He just seems to be like that all-American guy. He just kind of,
Yeah.
you could be dudes with him, and also he's very professional and just a classy dude. So, yeah, I like Sam Burns there.
There's something about a guy from the Delta, a guy from Ruston, Louisiana. It's like
Yeah,
there's some built-in trustworthiness
yeah,
with the
exactly.
All-American guy, Sam Burns. Sam Burns has our vote right now. Let's go Sam Burns or Tony Finau. Family man,
Uh,
family values.
Family man. I gotta go Finau there. Yeah, I love some Finau. Family man obviously knows how to control chaos, right? He's got a bunch of kids. You got to be able to figure it out, and be able to be a peacekeeper, but then also still run the show. So I like his credentials there.
Tony Finau or Tommy Fleetwood?
Hmm. I think I'm gonna go with they're kind of in the same kind of, I was thinking of like Fleetwood just hasn't quite gotten it done yet, but he's been close, and I can honestly look at him as a career politician. Like he think,
Wow.
he's been around a long time. He's whatever context you want to take that, but just he's just been around and is like not old, but like a veteran, kind of like Tony. They both haven't broken through, but they've been really close. But that's a really close one, but I think I got to stick with Finau.
Sticking with Tony Finau. There's also, I mean, respect to Tommy Fleetwood, married to a woman who's 20 years his senior. So like there's some maturation.
Yeah.
There's a lot of
Fun fact there. I mean, that's good. Yeah. I like it.
there's something to that.
There's some wisdom there.
There's some wisdom, He's more mature than maybe his age. We'll go Tony Finau or Minwoo.
um, oh man.
Who are you
I
voting
probably
for?
gotta stick with Finau, but Minwoo would have some killer like pump up videos for whatever's going on in the world.
He,
Like
he
his State of the Union speech would be electric. Like you'd be ready. I mean, you would get viewers with Minwoo because it's like, what's this guy gonna do? But not in like the craziest way, but just like he's just him. So
Yeah.
but also I think he's just a little bit too young and maybe just a little bit too much of a carefree attitude that like maybe political office isn't quite there yet. Like maybe when he settles down, he's like a young Anthony Kim, like
Yeah.
and not going, with the orientation or anything, but just like, he's young, everyone likes him, he's exciting. And then like literally in 15 years could be in a situation where like, oh, this guy's, he's just got all the chops and kind of has grown up or whatever.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Minwoo's winning the popular vote. Electoral College may kind of like, nudge him out of the race.
Yeah.
He definitely winning the popular
it's
vote. Yeah.
he's gonna give whoever a run for their money, and it's gonna be exciting. That campaign would be electric for sure. So he's got the swag, that's for sure.
Tony Finau or Keith Mitchell?
I'm going Cashmere Keith. Just that dude's swag, man. Like bringing back the natural fibers. I mean, he's really the spearhead of anti-poly, and he's just like, I don't care. It's 90 degrees. I'm wearing my cashmere. I'm wearing my 100% cotton shirt and rocking the visor. Like he's just got that. You might even have to stop this debate now because like he looks like he could be that.
He does.
But then also at the same time looks just like the dude from Tin Cup, like the villain. He's not stuffy, he's just got that old school look, he's got the deep, I mean, it's coming down past his chest with the buttons.
Oh, let me find this guy real quick. David Sims. Yeah. David Sims. Polished, arrogant, and highly successful PGA Tour pro.
Yeah, he's just got that look that just says he can bring in all the different sides of, the young, the older.
Yeah.
I think he's just got the total package. I think I like.
He's gonna bridge the gap. He's gonna get young voters, older voters.
I think he's got it all. He's got the total package there.
That's huge. Let's go Keith Mitchell or Jordan Spieth.
Oh, I love Jordan Spieth. I'm gonna really be backtracking if I take Spieth after just saying stop the contest now.
Yeah, I mean, you said stop.
Jordan's close to my heart. I think he wins the heart vote. He's erratic, but we've had erratic presidents. I mean, but also, you know, but he's still smart and calculated and family man. Been young. He's young, but he's been in the game a long time. You know, where he's almost that young whippersnapper that's not really young anymore, but in the terms of this context of being a president, yeah, you know, he's pretty young, and I think he's got the chops for it. So I'm just going to completely backtrack on this whole thing and take Spieth over Keith Mitchell. So
You asked for a vote count, and it turns out that Keith Mitchell's didn't actually win.
Yeah. You know, it might be one of those things where Keith just wasn't even entered. Like he was just up there, you know,
There you
like, you know, he was a write-in, or he wasn't a write-in vote, but like he could be the third party guy that actually gives them a run, you know.
Yes.
Like, you know, it's just not quite there, not in that upper echelon of the star power, but like he's going to be around and people are going to like him, but just maybe the third guy. So
yeah, that's right.
You know, Spieth's more of a blue chip.
All right. Jordan Spieth, and we're saying Justin Rose, Prime Minister. We're going to land there.
Yeah, that's a great one. Yeah, okay. I think that's perfect. I think, and I'd probably give Fleetwood the, you know, whatever's the vice president for the prime minister.
Yeah, we'll say Chancellor, Duke, yeah. Archbishop of.
Yeah, he's a Duke. Yeah. He's in line for the throne. For sure.
Ladies and gentlemen, Easton Key, that was an erratic way to finish an episode, but I hope you guys enjoyed some of that. I hope there's some sort of takeaway there. Easton, thank you so much for hopping on. There is 12 years of experience and has been coaching Austin Peay State, the Govs, past 2 seasons, getting ready for year 3 here in the next few weeks. By the time you're listening to this, they are getting ramped up. So Easton, thank you so much for hopping on Swing State University.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Glad to be the first coach on the pod, and I've been following along since day one, and I've been reaching out to you, and just straight Instagram too, just straight DMs through Instagram, and just following along everything you commenting on this and that, and you know, I just threw this idea out at you, or I don't know whose idea it was, but it was just like, yeah, this could be cool, especially right now and not much going on, and kind of give some good stuff and a different perspective than what has been on the pod recently with players. So, you know, hopefully I can be that recurring guest. So it just keeps coming back, you know, but.
Okay. Co-host down the road.
Be like, Wednesdays with Coach Saban type thing. Where it's like,
gosh,
we do a recap of the college, how it's going. I don't know. Yeah. There could be something there. So
speak that into existence, ladies and gentlemen. This may not be the last time you hear of Easton Key on Swing State University. Stay tuned. Stay tuned.
You never know. There could be a lot of potential for growth. So we'll see what the future holds. But I appreciate you having me on, and love what you're doing, and just highlighting college golf in any way is always a plus, because there's just not enough of it. So love what you're doing. Keep it up, and thanks for having me.
Thanks, Easton.